Okay, so I just got back from watching Annabelle Comes Home, and if you're wondering why it took me so long to watch and review this movie, it's because for some reason, this film came out in the UK 2 weeks after it came out in the US, and that really annoyed me. But better late than never, I suppose. So, what did I think of this movie? Well, first off, this is the first Conjuring spin-off that includes the Warrens. Both Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprised their roles, and they were great. They are the heart and soul of this franchise, and it really wouldn't be the same without them. The only problem, however, is that they are only in 3 scenes in the entire movie. Those being the opening scene where they bring Annabelle to their home, the scene where they leave the house, and a birthday party at the end of the movie. That's it. The movie's main focus is on their daughter Judy, who is played by McKenna Grace, and then we have 2 other characters, one who is Judy's babysitter and the other is the babysitter's friend. And Annabelle Comes Home plays out like a haunted house film, and the scares for the most part are pretty decent. Now they're not great or anything, but they are certainly much better than the scares we got in both the first Annabelle and The Nun. They are not, however, anywhere near as good as the scenes in Annabelle Creation or either of the Conjuring movies, and the main reason for this is that Annabelle Comes Home pads out its scares way too much. The scares have great build-up, but the build-up just keeps on going to the point that it just ends up feeling like padding. And this happens a lot throughout the whole movie. If the film cut out about 10 to 20 minutes of build-up with these scares, then it would have been far more effective, and it would make the movie's rewatch value a whole lot higher. But unfortunately, the filler build-up during these horror scenes really brought this movie down for me. It's still enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but when compared to some of the other movies in the Conjuring universe, the slower payoff with the scares was noticeable. And speaking of slow payoff, there are a lot of ghosts in this movie which don't get enough screen time and barely do anything. This ghost in particular is shown quite a lot in the trailer, and he's hardly in the movie. And this leads me to believe that the only reason they put him in the film is so they can make a spin-off about him in the future. Now that's not the first time a ghost was shoehorned into a Conjuring movie. The Nun, for example, was actually not supposed to be in The Conjuring 2, but Warner Brothers wanted James Wan to include it somehow, and he managed to find a smart way to write it into the story. So if they got the director for Annabelle 3 to include this thing, then I wish he did the same and actually incorporated it into the film's story. But he didn't. The main ghosts in this movie is the usual demon that follows Annabelle and a woman in a wedding dress. And these 2 were genuinely creepy, and they were used to very good effect. I just think the movie should have focused on them a lot more and ignored the rest of the ghosts. And moving on to the characters, they do some really stupid things. For example, the babysitter's friend comes into the house and the babysitter says, "How'd you get in?" And the friend says, "Oh, I came through the back door." Yep, that cliche. And to make things worse, the babysitter doesn't even check and lock the back door, meaning that anyone, whether they be supernatural or completely natural, could have broken into the house. It bothers the shit out of me when that happens in horror movies. It's an old and cliched horror trope, and unless you are going to do something new with it, you shouldn't incorporate it. Another problem with this movie was the music. Now the soundtrack itself was good and very effective, but there were some scenes that could have been a lot scarier if the music was timed and written better. But seeing as it wasn't, the music really did the scenes a disservice at times. This movie also has a love interest character called Bob, who doubles up as the comic relief, and he wasn't needed, nor was his crappy comedy. Now there was one good running joke about him which had a really funny punchline at the end of the movie, but none of the funny comedy came from him. He was very poorly integrated into this movie. And my final problem with this film was the climax. It felt very anticlimactic, and again, the music really failed the movie here. If the music was more intense and went all out, then it would have made the climax feel more grand and intense, but instead, it just felt underwhelming. Now I thought the climax in the second Annabelle movie was anticlimactic, but it still felt big in scale. The music was super intense and the characters were getting thrown around and hurt, but the climax just felt very safe in this film. So, those are all my complaints. Is there anything else I liked about the film? Well, other than the stuff I already mentioned, there really wasn't anything else I liked. The Warrens were great for what little screen time they had, the scares were decent, the main 3 characters, although not great, had great performances and you cared about them enough, the cinematography was creative, and the climax, although underwhelming, was still fun. I thought this was an overall average movie. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as the first Annabelle, and it wasn't a headache like The Nun, it was just decent. But one thing's for sure, Out of all the movies in the Conjuring universe, it definitely is the most forgettable movie in the franchise, and I came out of the movie not feeling much. Even with the bad movies, I came out feeling something. When I saw the first Annabelle, I came out of the cinema angry, and with The Nun, I came out feeling a little annoyed. But with Annabelle Comes Home, even though I found it decent, it's still pretty disposable. And as a result, Annabelle Comes Home gets a 5 out of 10. It is definitely better than both The Nun and Annabelle 1, but everything else in the Conjuring universe is by far much better than this. And in case some of you are wondering, I won't be doing a versus video for Annabelle Comes Home, as I really don't have much else to say about it. It's a decent addition to the Conjuring universe, but we have already seen this franchise do far better. So, that's it for my quick review of Annabelle Comes Home. If you like this video, please do click that thumbs up button, as it really helps in making my channel grow and get noticed by YouTube's algorithm, and of course, feel free to click that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can stay up to date with my future videos. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys, and I will see all of you very soon. Take care.